Welcome to the Lee Etzler Show, a weekly wrap-up and analysis of Churubusco High School Football.
Eagles, what is your profession? Out, out, out.
And now your host, Big Daddy Don Hyatt.
Welcome to Lee Etzler Show. I'm Don Hyatt. Today we're going to talk about Churubusco's 37-21 victory over the Angola Hornets to improve their record to 5-0 in the season. We'll also talk about the upcoming game with the West Noble Chargers, and later on we'll be joined by offensive line coach Paul Sade. I'm Don Hyatt. We'll be right back after this.
The Lee Etzler Show is brought to you by the United Way of Whitley County, BuscoNews.com, and the Churubusco News.
Welcome back. We're here with Coach Etzler. Coach, very good win for you last night, 37-21 over Angola.
Yeah, tough. It was a tough test for our kids. We understood much bigger school. They have a lot of size that they put out on the field and athleticism, and it was we figured it was going to be a tough battle. It proved to be so. The game was pretty tight through the first 2.5 quarters, and proud of our guys for sticking with things. It was a physical battle, and we came out on top. So different football game than what we saw the first 4 weeks, and proud of how we responded.
On offense, your line seemed to take control there at times and just overpower the Hornet defense.
Yeah, we felt that the offensive line played real well. We are not blessed with a lot of size up front, but we do feel we have some quickness and some toughness, and we've been trying to get them going as a unit. This year, and we've shown some signs of some pretty good things, but we feel they put together a pretty good football game for 4 quarters last night.
Again, they had over 400 yards rushing again this week. Your fullbacks had over 300 yards just by themselves. Yeah, and
it's not one kid that's carrying the ball. Jason Nicodemus had over 200 yards rushing again, but over 400 yards rushing. It's a testament to the job that the offensive line did, and to the job Coach Sade has done. So far this year. There were some question marks going into the year as far as some positions we needed to fill in the offensive line, and we've been trying to work those things out. And Coach Sade's done an outstanding job, and the kids. They want to do well. They have the desire to do well, and it was good to see them put together a pretty good football game last night.
Lee, defense, something they ain't seen on the offensive side of the ball, and they seem to shut them down there in the second half.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult to defend not only an offense like that, but an offense that has the weapons that they do. They're very good at what they do. They call most of their game from the line of scrimmage, and that presents some difficulties as far as calling the defenses that we want to call. Our kids, we had a real good week of practice on defense, and thought our kids were looking forward to the game and played pretty well. They have a good handful of athletes that were probably better than what we'd seen so far this year, and they had some chunks of yardage, but we were, other than 2 times in the first half, we were pretty fortunate to keep them out of the end zone. We were up 14-0, then gave up 2 scores on some big pass plays, and we weren't in terrible position on those things. Their quarterback made some good plays, and the receivers made some good plays. So, probably more of a testament to their skill on the offensive side of the ball. Second half, the defensive staff did an outstanding job adjusting to what they were doing. You know, some of the things that we're concerned with throughout the game. You know, what a team is doing on the different down and distances, what a team is doing on out of their certain formations. Coach Lordy is up in the press box, and he charts a lot of that stuff and then communicates those things down to Coach Doc. Those two do an excellent job of communicating, and once we had a few things figured out, we were able to settle down a little bit on defense in the second half. One of the things that probably we haven't done a lot of over the years, we've had very successful defenses, but one of the things we probably haven't done is, you know, Coach Doc did an outstanding job of communicating some adjustments on the fly. You know, they walk up to the line of scrimmage in a certain formation, and their coach signals in whatever play they want to run from according to how we line up. Well, we don't want to show them how we're going to line up, so you know, that's a lot of times you see our kids jumping around on defense. We want to be confusing for the offense, you know, in those situations. But you know, great communication by Coach Doc and Coach Lordy, and Coach Doc did an outstanding job of communicating some adjustments to our kids kind of on the fly. Normally we're calling a defensive call in the huddle, and you know, we break the huddle and that's what we're going to do. But you know, so we were a little bit different last night. We were communicating from the sideline, and it proved to be pretty successful.
Offensive line coach Paul Sade will be here shortly. A few words on him.
Yeah, he's extremely valuable to our staff. You know, takes such a tremendous sense of ownership in the offensive line, and goes above and beyond in a lot of different areas. Has a lot of enthusiasm for coaching that position. The kids respond to him extremely well. You know, it would be a huge loss to our football program if we were ever to lose someone like Paul Sade.
We'll be right back with offensive line coach Paul Sade right after this.
I'm David, and you're watching the Lee Etzler Show.
I lost my job and I needed help with different things like prescriptions and energy assistance and stuff. So I contacted United Way. They was the first ones that I could think of. And I went to the agencies that they gave me a list of and got the assistance that I needed from them. Because I received the help from United Way, then I'm volunteering my help out to the community, giving the help that they need.
Hey football fans, do you want to keep track of Churubusco High School football games? Log on to busconews.com every game day and watch up-to-the-minute pregame, halftime, and postgame interviews with head coach Lee Etzler. Stay connected with your computer or on your cell phone. busconews.com. When you can't make it to the game, it's the next best thing to being there. The Lee Etzler Show is brought to you by the United Way of Whitley County, busconews.com, and the Churubusco News.
Welcome back. We're here with offensive line coach Paul Sade. Paul, your offensive line's been real strong all season long.
Yeah, had a couple hiccups the last couple weeks in the previous two games before last night, and we were pretty frustrated with that because I thought we talked as coaches and thought we started off the season pretty well, probably even a little bit ahead of where we were last year, and then went up to Brushy Prairie and against Eastside last week and didn't play very well. Weren't playing very fast. We're stopping our feet. We're getting too high. So we really worked this week in practice at the little things, fundamental stuff. Keeping your feet moving, taking good angles, staying low, and finishing blocks. And I thought last night, at least before I viewed the film, I think that we played pretty well up front. So
last night was against Angola was your third game over 400 yards rushing.
Yeah, the kids are, they take a lot of pride in their work, and it's something that they feel like when we have a good game on the ground that they've contributed to that, and that's something that they take a lot of pride in. And it helps, we have a lot of, a revolving backfield is what a lot of people have been saying, and it's true to some extent. We got a lot of kids that can run the ball and have done a very good job of filling some holes that we had left from last year. And, the offensive line, they enjoy that. They enjoy running the ball, and as far as I'm concerned, if we never put the ball in the air, you'd never hear me complain. So we keep it on the ground, and our kids like it. So.
Also, with the key to any good running game is your linemen make some real outstanding downfield blocks to open up runners. Yeah, we emphasize that a lot. There's obviously a lot of emphasis on what's happening in the trenches and good down blocks and kick out blocks, but really backside blocks. A lot of those guys their job basically if they're backside is to get downfield and to find a body and make a difference when you get there. And they have done a pretty good job of that, particularly last night. And that makes a huge difference because that's a difference a lot of times between a 10-yard gain and an 82-yard touchdown run like Nico had last night. And that definitely helps when you got guys that are hustling downfield and making plays. What's your philosophy on getting your offensive line to the point where the Eagles are getting at right now? I don't know that I can have my own philosophy. I don't know if I feel like I have the right to, but as a coaching staff, we feel like it is important that the offensive line are mentally and physically tougher than anybody else on the field. And obviously we're not bigger than any team we've played so far, but as far as playing with a chip on your shoulder and not just being aggressive, but mentally tough. And we've had some penalty issues that we need to work out, and knowing what your assignments are and executing them full speed. That's kind of our philosophy, because we're never going to outsize anybody and anything like that. So we definitely have to do the little things right, and I think last night we did a pretty good job of that. Does it help your offensive line having the different ages on there? I mean, you got 2 seniors on there, a couple juniors, a couple sophomores, and even a freshman on there at times. Yeah, we have 2 seniors. Both of them are returning starters. Chris Eker, our center, and Chris is I talked about him last year on here, and he's a quiet kid and doesn't say a whole lot, but he has the respect and the comfortability factor with the other linemen and with the backfield. They know Chris is going to get the job done. This year we're running shotgun stuff, and pretty much a seamless transition for him. We had a little bit of problem up at Brushy Prairie a couple weeks ago with some of the snaps, but he fixed that and has done a good job. And Zach Adams, our other senior, all-conference honorable mention last year, physically is not the type of kid you'd expect to see playing guard and knocking people around, but he plays very fast, plays very aggressive, and he is kind of, I would say, the vocal leader of the offensive line. Then you have Brian Richardson and Eric Kuznar, and Kuznar's been on here before. Tyler Neville's been on here before. Those guys, as juniors, saw a lot of playing time last year, and obviously are playing a lot this year in both sides of the ball. And they're definitely improving every week. And then Cole Stauffer is another tackle for us. Is a junior. He's a big kid. Him and Eric are for our school are pretty big. We usually don't have guys that are very big. And Cole's done a lot of work in the off season to get stronger and to get faster, and he can move guys around when he wants to, and that definitely is something that we like to see. So we have Sarazen and Sam Siddons rotating at tight end, and those guys are playing pretty well. Sam, this is his first year playing. Corey played last year. Down blocks are very important at the tight end position, and that's something we emphasize every week. And then Jacob Geiger as a freshman, it's rare that a freshman would play any varsity, and Jake's been subbing in and doing a good job. He plays very fast, especially for his age. So we're excited about not only the group we have, but obviously the guys that are going to be coming up in the next couple of years. So I'd like to thank Coach Sade for stopping by and talking with us today. Coach Sade's offensive line has been an intricate part of the Busco offense all season long, and we hope it continues for the rest of the season. I had a chance to stop by and talk to Coach Monty Mayhorter from West Noble, and this is what he had to say about the Churubusco Eagles.
Churubusco is going to be interesting. I know they're starting a lot of young kids. They get 3 games that they should be able to gain some confidence with. Coach Etzler will have kids playing well after those 3 games. He's going to have to replace some big names, kids that have done a lot for his program. But I think a lot of the kids have bought into what he's doing, and I expect him to have a pretty decent season.
We'll be right back to talk with Coach Etzler about the upcoming game with the West Noble Chargers.
I'm offensive line coach Paul Sade, and you're watching the Lee Etzler Show.
I lost my job and I needed help with different things like prescriptions and energy assistance and stuff. So I contacted United Way. They was the first ones that I could think of. And I went to the agencies that they gave me a list of and got the assistance that I needed from them. Because I received the help from United Way, then I'm volunteering my help out to the community, giving the help that they need.
Hey football fans, do you want to keep track of Churubusco High School football games? Log on to busconews.com every game day and watch up-to-the-minute pregame, halftime, and postgame interviews with head coach Lee Etzler. Stay connected with your computer or on your cell phone. busconews.com. When you can't make it to the game, it's the next best thing to being there. The Lee Etzler Show is brought to you by the United Way of Whitley County, busconews.com, and the Churubusco News.
Welcome back. We're going to talk with Coach Etzler about the upcoming game with the West Noble Chargers. Coach, West Noble 0-5, but still a dangerous team out there.
Yeah, I would. The 0-5 record gives absolutely zero indication of what we're going to be facing Friday night. You know, they have this year a lot of experience back and kids that have started 3 or 4 years, and when they have things going well and then they have the kids to put in the positions they want to put them at, they pose an extremely difficult test for us. You know, early in the year, you know, from what I understand, they were doing some different things offensively, and have since switched back and have started having some pretty good success on the offensive side of the ball. You know, you look at last couple's, you know, some recent scores. They lost to Garrett, who I believe is 5-0 by 1 point. Gave Garrett all they could handle. Lost to Fairfield by 3 points. You know, so if we're looking at the record and you know, excuse me, a 5-0 team should probably beat an 0-5 team the strong majority of the time. If we're looking at things like that, then we're going to be in trouble.
I'd like to thank Coach Etzler for stopping by and talking to us this week. The Eagles improved the record to 5-0. Should be an exciting game this Friday night at home against West Noble. I'm Don Hyatt, and we'll see you next week.
This has been the Lee Etzler Show, brought to you every Thursday night at 7:30 by busconews.com.